A new documentary series by Ken Burns and Lynn Novick premieres Monday on PBS. The title, Hemingway, about one of America's most famous and influential writers. In New Mexico, an unusual audience is watching, reading, and writing along. Jeffrey Brown has the story for our Arts and Culture series, Canvas.
Hey everybody, welcome. I am super happy to see you all.
Yet another Zoom class, but this is for inmates at the Penitentiary of New Mexico. The subject, the life and work of Ernest Hemingway.
What is it that Hemingway did that was so different from the writers of his time?
That's a big question.
The class itself has an unusual origin. New Mexico's PBS station secured a grant to use the Ken Burns film for community outreach. It provided DVDs, a collection of short stories, and composition notebooks.
Ernest Hemingway remade American literature.
The inmates got a sneak preview of the 6-hour series about a man who grew up in Chicago's suburbs, drove an ambulance, and was severely wounded in World War I, and for decades beginning in the 1920s was a renowned author and global celebrity, but always with an undercurrent of struggle. Hemingway took his own life at age 61 in 1961.
When you heard the idea, did Hemingway feel right to you?
I wasn't sure, to be honest.
Leading the 6-week course is Jesus Costantino, an English professor at the University of New Mexico. This was his first time teaching in a prison.
I jumped at the chance, really. I'd been chomping at the bit to do this. I'd heard so many great stories, and I was envious. I was like, this sounds like the kind of teaching I want to do.
And Hemingway suddenly felt right.
Here's somebody who talks a lot about communities of men. Here's somebody who talks a lot about the constant threat of violence. Here's somebody who talks a lot about that almost obsessive sense that death is nearby. And Hemingway sort of played into that so perfectly.
This prison near Santa Fe was the scene of a horrific riot in 1980 that left 33 inmates dead. Many years later, in a new high-security facility on the same site, the men we met are serving sentences ranging from 4 years to life for crimes up to first-degree murder. Prison officials asked us to use first names only and to blur faces in our interviews out of sensitivity to the victims.
Did you ever read Hemingway before?
No, I never even heard of him.
Did you connect with him at all?
Yeah, he did connect with me. It was just easy to read. He wasn't like all that extra stuff. It was just straight to the point.
Let's start by reading a passage from the story, The Undefeated.
Professor Costantino is focusing on Hemingway's short stories, and the first assignment was one titled The Undefeated, about an aging bullfighter. He emphasized the directness of the language, the life and death situation, but also something else.
One of Hemingway's biggest interests is what we're doing right now, groups of men. He is really interested in how men think and function together, and in particular, what kind of language they develop.
That resonated with the inmates.
Most men just get straight to the point. We're not going to go through all these details that are not necessarily important to the point.
I couldn't help but think that there you are in an institution of all men.
Yes.
Did you connect with that?
Oh, very much so. Each and every single one of us is constantly trying to balance that in a male-dominant society. In here is your masculinity and how you carry yourself and present yourself and mingle with a whole bunch of other men.
What you put into words is just that tip of the iceberg, right?
Professor Costantino also emphasized a key to Hemingway's writing. The words we read often hide the complexities below the surface. That too connected.
In here, you have to be cautious with your words. So you have to find ways in expressing yourself, and so that people can understand what's beneath the surface, because what's beneath the surface is a lot of times our insecurities.
Were you surprised by the amount of participation or what the inmates said?
What I'm surprised by is the number of ways I feel as though I've been prepared to expect something different. It was that I wanted them to show me what they could do, and they did.
So let's not say the thing beneath, and let's say the thing on top.
There was also a writing assignment, a simple sentence about a feeling you're having without saying what the feeling is.
Anybody want to share?
I feel like all eyes are on me and time has stopped or it's going by really slow.
What is not being said there?
That I'm nervous.
Nervous in part because he was seated front and center, and this was all new to him. But Jose told us he'd stick with the class.
Just to expand my mind, not to be ignorant, you know? If my kids ever ask me about it or when they're in school or it comes up, I'm not gonna be ignorant about the situation, and I could actually put in my 2 cents to help them out.
There's a definite hunger for learning.
Bob Robinson is tasked with organizing programs like this statewide. A former university philosophy professor, he teaches ethics classes here.
The Hemingway sessions that we're pursuing here fit right into that mold of bringing an opportunity to these incarcerated people that would give them the chance to think through some of these deeper human issues, human questions.
What's in it for the prison system as opposed to the incarcerated themselves?
We're releasing them with skills and knowledge that are going to better equip them to be successful, and that means less victims in our communities, but it also means stronger and safer communities for us.
Writing like Hemingway?
Back in the classroom, session 1 ended with a show of appreciation.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you for doing this because we know that you don't have to, so I just wanted to let you know that we appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome questions, awesome feedback, awesome work. I hope to see you all again.
Next, the group tackles the classic Hemingway story, The Snows of Kilimanjaro. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Jeffrey Brown.
Such a great story, lifting opportunities for all these men.